Hi, it is Greg Milby, Kentucky's Heartland, and Kentucky's Heartland.com. I am with my friend Mike McNutt. Now, you may hear me refer to him as PRP because you graduated from Pleasure Ridge Park.
That's right. Graduated from Pleasure Ridge Park, yes.
And I'm a Fairdale boy, so we've learned to get along over the last 3 years.
Yes, we have. We get along very well.
All right, so Hardin County Animal Shelter. You are Director of Hardin County Animal Care and Control.
That's right.
That's your official title?
That's my official title.
That's a really long title, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of cool, though. I like it.
Of course you do. It's a nice time. Now, we were kind of talking beforehand. I didn't realize you've been here already almost 3 years.
Yeah, 2.5, going on 3 years right now, yeah.
There is a lot of focus in this community on adoptions.
Yes.
And helping this shelter. What's that meant to you over the last 3 years?
Well, when I first came in, we had a 51% live release rate. So basically 49% of the animals were coming here and not leaving. So I met with the staff, which I have been blessed with an incredible staff and a great community that when we need something, they show up in full force. And surprisingly, I've worked with county governments before, but this county government has really worked hard to make sure that I have the tools I need to be a success. I wanted to make us as low-kill shelter as possible. And the staff all agreed into it, and I explained to them we're talking about a very hard thing to accomplish. And we had some growing to do in the beginning, but as of right now, we're at a 93% live release rate. That is the definition of a pro-life or no-kill shelter. So we're doing everything right. We're making it work. Everybody's happier. There's more going on a daily basis than what there was when we first started. And again, like I'm not the one that made the change here. This staff did, this community did, and the county government did. So,
it is a great facility that you have here that's been built, and we are actually setting in the cat room, I guess, right?
Yeah, this is the communal cat room. So basically, when we have enough cats, we put them in here running loose. They actually get along and stay healthier the more space they have. We know that now after years of doing the wrong thing, that the more space we give them, the healthier they'll stay. We have to test them for more things, and which can get kind of expensive. But it seems like the minute we put a couple in here, they're adopted, which is a good problem to have. I'm not arguing or I'm not upset about that, but it is a constant fight.
So speaking of that fight, it is a challenge for you on a day-to-day basis because you have people that are bringing animals in as you are trying to adopt these animals out. So one, I know you're trying to get the adoption rate up, but is there an education process to getting people to understand how to control their pet population?
The most important thing to understand about controlling your pet population is to spay and neuter. If you're not going to actively be a responsible breeder, and when I say responsible breeder, I mean somebody that does it the right way, that ensures one particular breed, only has so many a year, and does not try to make mad money off of it. They try to preserve the quality of the breed. I don't have a problem with that. The problem I run into is the ones that, they want a backyard breed and, make $35 a puppy, and they could care less about the quality of what they're putting out there. Spaying and neutering is the key to our overpopulation problem, and we're seeing the direct results right now. The reason we're at a 93% live release rate is because we're spaying, neutering, and returning the cats to the field. Right now in Hardin County, there are two different types of cats. There are owner cats, which live in the house with you all the time and have never been outside. Then there are community cats. Those are cats that stay outside, get fed outside, but they are people's pets, and people love them. Those animals come to us, we spay and neuter them, we ear tip them, and we release them back. They will fight other cats off from coming into the food source. See, everybody always thought the problem was the cats. It's not the cats. It is that there's a sustainable food source somewhere in that vicinity. So you remove 10 cats, 10 more cats move in. I've got the proof over years of what we've been doing. They're bringing them to us. We're trying to adopt and euthanize our way out of it. It was not working. Now we're spaying and neutering them, putting them back. They're fighting their territory off. Other cats are not coming in to take their food source.
Now, for somebody like me, I have a dog at home. I love Chloe to death. I mean, she's an older dog, but she's a boxer. She's very energetic still. So every time that I see, and I know you do some features out in the newspaper, and you run a feature every Wednesday on Quixie, which is a great feature. It's had great success. But I can't adopt another dog.
Right.
what can somebody like me who can't come in and adopt one of these just amazing animals that you have here, what can I do to help?
We have volunteer opportunities that a lot of people can take advantage of. Especially, I know my friends that are single parents, they love the foster care program because they can actually take a small litter of kittens, keep them for 2 weeks, and then bring them back. There's no long-term obligation. There is 2 weeks of work. We provide everything that you need, but it gets those kittens and or puppies, depending on what it is, to the right weight and the right health to sustain life here. It's a great way of doing something good with your kids. And it's not, you're not taking on a 15 or 20-year obligation. You're taking a merely 2 weeks to 4 week obligation, depending on the size of the animals. And you know that going into it. You know that they're not going to be there forever. I think it teaches children responsibility, and it also teaches them that there are times when you love something, you have to let it go. So it's a great program. That's one aspect that you can go to. We also have people that come in and walk our dogs on the adoption floor. Dogs need to interact with people. I don't have the staff to be able to walk every dog every day, so that's where the volunteers come in. And it helps the dogs maintain their mental status. As long as is their health, they need the fresh air, they need to be outside. So, there's a whole bunch of different ways you can volunteer. You can volunteer for events, so please stop in, talk to us about volunteering. And if you don't have that type of time, you can always donate a bag of food. You can donate some paper towels. You can help what we're doing here in a million different ways.
I know you've not said anything about money, but I will, because I know money's important too, and I know you guys have a little more buying power when it comes to the food items and things. So if somebody wants to make a monetary donation, you don't turn that down.
Oh, no, definitely not. No, that's how we operate, and we have great support from this community, especially during Christmas. People just walk in and they hand us checks, and all that money goes right back into the animals. I'm not going to say that we don't overindulge. We only get what we need for while they're here, because our goal is to get them in and get them out. Dogs and cats don't need to be sheltered. They need to be in the homes. They need to be out. They need to be free.
So, and I'm sure that weighs on you, but you've been doing this for quite a while. So, do you ever get desensitized to that?
April 1st was my 30th anniversary for doing this type of work. I started at the Humane Society in Louisville on April 1st, 1989. And if anything, I don't know that I ever got desensitized to it. I got over, because I think I care more now than I did back then. And I don't think I didn't care back then. I think I know different ways of having a happy outcome that I didn't know when I was younger. And of course, education goes along with that. The more education you get and trying new things. The day I stop trying to make this shelter better is the day I'll retire. I won't be here if I'm not constantly trying to increase adoptions, make owners more responsible, and have better pet retention. So there's a lot more things we can do, but you got to start, and we have a plan, and we're going to hash that plan out, and then we'll start another plan, and we'll always have a plan. It's always going to keep changing. It's just the way it is for us.
And I know you are always working on something, as you say, working on a plan. But seeing what you've done over the last few years, the programs have put in place that, you talk about euthanizing. It's weird to say, but it would be easy to euthanize. But you are looking at ways to, as you were talking about the cats and helping getting dogs adopted and spaying and neutering the animals. You've also, the veterinarian program here too. You guys have really stepped that up. And I know you had a pretty generous donor that has put some new equipment in here that makes that job even easier.
Yes. I mean, this building that we're sitting in was actually from the Paul's Foundation, D.D. Lehman. It's the best shelter in the state, and I can't go without thanking her for giving us such a beautiful place to work and a beautiful place to be proud of. And, the person you're talking about, Richard Rowland, he contacted me. He wanted to do a gesture of goodwill to try and entice people to donate. And the things that he gave us separated us from the other shelters. The ultrasound, the portable ultrasound that we have now, we're capable of doing things that other shelters cannot do. We are capable. We have the safest surgery you could possibly have with the heart monitor, the O2 sensors, the whole 9 yards. So his generosity which he did. He didn't do it for a pat on the back. He did it because he wanted to see if his goodwill would increase others' goodwill. And he's been fantastic to us. I can't thank him enough. But you're right, the vet being here full time has increased what we could do 100 times. A minute ago you said you weren't going to bring up the money, but I'm going to when it comes to euthanasia. See, people don't get that we were euthanizing roughly 1,500 cats a year. That's something you don't like to talk about, but I can talk about it now because I know it's not happening and it's not going to happen anymore. What people don't get is that to euthanize them with the manpower, the materials used, and the body disposal, you're looking at roughly the same price to spay and neuter them. And when you spay and neuter them, you're actually decreasing the future numbers when euthanizing them does not. So what I'm trying to do is decrease the future, because my goal is to decrease animal control's budget for the taxpayers. And so, yeah, we need more staffing. We need certain things, but it's all a way of looking at it and planning for the future so that I can decrease the budget a little bit as we go.
And adding all that equipment has done that. And that triggered in my mind a conversation you and I had probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, where you were talking about this very thing of, hey, if we spay and neuter these cats and release them, and I think, if I remember correctly, you took a little heat over that, because you're like, wait a minute, we're going to be releasing these cats back in. So it is becoming a successful program.
Yes, and I still take heat from certain people. There are people that they don't want the cats there, and they'll call me and they'll say, look, I didn't put these cats here. And I'm like, well, I didn't either. I didn't cause it, but I'll tell you what, here's what we can do. There are deterrents that you can use to keep the cats off of your trucks and off of your motorcycle. I had a lady come in the other day, wonderful lady. She is not mean to cats, but a cat tore up a $1,500 seat on her husband's Harley Davidson. Hey, I get it, So I explained to her about the deterrents, about mothballs, about citrus products, and how to use those different deterrents to keep the animals away from that area. I haven't heard back from her yet. I'm hoping it was a success. I'm assuming, since she isn't in my ear, that it worked out. But even Walmart now, I found them in the garbage section, but they have solar-powered deterrents that emit a high-frequency sound that will keep cats, squirrels, raccoons, keep them away from certain areas. I have them at my house. I use them for the raccoons that come up to my garbage can.
So that says a lot if you're using the solar. Because I used to see those in magazines and thought, you know what, that's a hoax. There's no way. But so you're saying the solar-powered, those things that emit the high frequencies work?
Yeah. Now I've got mine from Amazon, and I spent a little bit more because I've got like a 35-pound coon that I'm tired of cleaning up after. But he hasn't been back since I put these into play. They have other deterrents that spray nigh and do different stuff like that. I don't want to spray anything. I just want them to just stay away.
Right. Because they live here with us.
Yeah, and I haven't had a problem. And, we keep building and we keep making their area smaller. So you can't really say it's the animal's fault or animal control's fault. I mean, it's humans. We're growing, and that's what happens.
So we were talking about volunteers, and I think it's great with Fort Knox down up the road, and we're doing a series that we're getting ready to start called Our Knox, where we feature things that are going on Post and how the Post is integrating itself with our community as well. You have soldiers that come in every Saturday to walk the dogs.
Yes, we have it's Paws and Boots program. It's wonderful. They walk the entire adoption floor. So you can imagine as many as 40 soldiers walking 40 dogs. They don't come when it's raining. We had to stop that because the smell of the wet dog, that was the only problem. We can give them baths, but the smell of the wet dog contained in the kennel after the fact was horrible. But other than that, they come every Saturday. They're a fantastic group. I'd love to introduce you to the man that got the program started, and you all could do an interview with him.
Yeah, we'll do that soon, because I think that's pretty cool stuff. And that's the things that we're talking about with Kentucky's Heartland, things that are powering our Heartland, things that people may not know on a day-to-day basis. You got a soccer field. The Carroll Soccer Complex is across the street. Hundreds of people there on a weekend, and they may not know what's going on over here to help control this pet population. Wow, I felt like Bob Barker there for a second. I needed a longer microphone. So
he would still whip both of us. You know that, right?
Yeah. Bob Barker is like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
So with that being said, and knowing the work that you put in, and knowing the programs that are working, where do you think technology is going in the near future in this line of work?
Well, interestingly, we are working on a program now that I'm not ready to announce anything about, but it is bordering on facial recognition for stray dogs. And I know you're like, what? Other places are using it. We're trying to get the technology put into play here. The program's called Finding Rover, and it's the only problem with it is you have to take a really good picture. And I'm not talking,
I've never taken a good picture.
well, of the dog. You have to be able to take the good picture. So you don't have to look good on the picture, because if that was the case, I'd be lost. But if you take a really good picture, it will help people find their dogs quicker. A lot of people, I think that we want your animals. I'm here to tell you, I don't want your animals. It costs me money to feed them, care for them. The county doesn't want your animals. We want you to have your animals. We want you to get your animal licensed. We want you to get your animal shots, and we want you to keep your animals inside the perimeters of your property. Other than that, that's all we want. A lot of people here don't know that there's a licensing program. That is key for us to make sure that animals are getting their rabies shots. That is also one way that we get funding to do the different programs that we got. And it's just like anything else. You have a car, you have to have a license. So a dog license is the law. And we might forgive you once, but we're not going to forgive you the second time.
So what does somebody need to do for that? Is there a place on your website? Is there a place on your social media that they can learn, just in case they're not familiar with that?
Most of the vets in the community, in fact, I think all of them, unless there's a couple new ones that I'm unaware of, sell our license at their shop. So it's a one-stop shop. Get your rabies shot, get your license, and you're good to go. Of course, you can come in here and get your license. We'll be more than glad to sell it to you. But just there, you can get your rabies and your license at the same time. If you want it here, just please bring proof of the rabies.
Okay. Now, we talk about the dogs and we talk about the cats. Do you do anything else here, or is that it? Because we didn't prep this question at all, or actually we didn't prep hardly any of these questions. But what are some of the things that people want you to work with?
Boy, we do cows, we do horses, we do pigs, we do llamas. I don't think we've had.
You've done goats.
We've done goats.
We're not talking about the goat. We are not. We're not. I said coming in, I'm not.
I was trying to sidestep that one, but yes, we do goats. We do. Our main priority is health and public safety. Anything that poses a threat to the community that's animal-wise, we're going to do our best to help with. We really don't do wildlife, and we're not supposed to. But when I got a call of a raccoon being outside an elementary school, yeah, we do wildlife on that day. It's not something we're going to do for everybody else, but when it's kids at risk, and we're going to do the right thing. We go out on cow calls all the time. They get out of their fences, they're in the roadways, and somebody has to make sure they get back and make sure nobody comes over a hill and then, runs off the road because of cows. So we've had pigs. I know they've had a couple, I want to say ostriches. I think they had an ostrich here that was loose. That was before I got here. But pretty much anything that's an animal that is a threat to public health, we're going to help with.
Do you adopt anything else other than cats and dogs?
Yes, we adopt out horses. We adopt out pigs. We've had my first year here, we had 2 horses that nobody claimed. They were running loose on Dixie Highway.
Nobody claimed, and you adopted them out.
Nobody ever claimed them. By law, you have to hold the horses 15 days, advertise it with the Department of Ag. Nobody came forward. Beautiful animals. Have no idea who lost them. We don't know where they came from. We found good homes for them to go to, ones that we knew were going to be homes and not, any type of sale or anything, and we moved on.
All right, as we wrap this interview up, I don't want to close this interview without giving an opportunity to pitch adopting some of these dogs and cats that we have here. So for somebody that they're green to this, they've been thinking about a dog or cat, a pet, they don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. What do they need to do?
If you come in, the best thing you could do, you always want to interact with the pet before you take it home. With that being said, you're not going to get a true read of how the animal is until it's in your house, usually 2 to 3 months after it's been there. Then that dog will get acclimated to its house, and then you'll see the real personality, good and bad. Best thing you can do is come in and look. You fill in the application. We go through it. We try and educate you on the things you're not aware of, and then we do the adoption. The important part for me is I don't care where you get the animal from. Of course, I'd love for you to get it from us. Just if you do get an animal, please make sure it's spayed and neutered.
Right. Now, this may seem like a loaded question, but is there a return policy? And that's not a joke, because I know some people will not adopt because they don't really know. Is there a return policy?
The return policy here, we give you 2 weeks to return the dog. We charge for owner releases now. We started doing that, and it's been hugely successful. It's decreased our euthanasia rate. The reason we do that is because owners, they're responsible for their animal, not us. So what we charge is $30 if it's spayed and neutered, or $70 if it's not. The $70 is strictly for the spay and neuter surgery and all the shots. The $30 is for the neutered animal, and then to pay for the shots. We're not really charging anything for the animal. We're charging for the stuff we have to provide to help you find a home for your animal, and we do it by appointment only. So if you have a dog, and of course if it's a threat, we're going to take it. If you adopt one out and you've had it for 5 months and you want to get rid of it, you need to call, make an appointment, and we're going to charge you the $30 to return it because you took the responsibility of adopting it.
Yeah, and that makes all the sense. I mean, if I take Chloe to the vet, I'm expected to pay the bill for the vet. I feed Chloe, I water Chloe, I buy her toys, we get her massages. No, we don't do that. But I mean, that's my dog. That's right. So I'm responsible for that. So I totally agree that there should be responsibility if somebody is going to turn in an animal. But I would much rather them turn in an animal than to them do something themselves.
Yeah. When I first came in here, our adoption floor was full. We were having to euthanize from time to time for space. When I looked into it, the floor was filled with owner-released dogs. It wasn't stray dogs. By law, all I have to accept is stray dogs here at this shelter. We don't have to accept owner-released dogs. It's your responsibility to find a home. And we have wonderful rescue groups all around that will work with you on helping you place your animal if we can't get to you quick enough.
All right. So the social media is on the screen right now at the very bottom. Also, you see a link to their website here as well. And this is at Kentucky'sHeartland.com. And as you scroll down, you'll see that information below here. If you have any questions, all that information is there. Mike is a great dude. Their staff is absolutely wonderful. They'd be glad to tell you about their program, about how you can help. And they would definitely adopt you a dog or a cat today.
Oh, definitely. We'll adopt you something. I'll adopt you a tree if I got one.
I'm sure you would. All right, he's Mike McNutt, Director of Hardin County Animal Care and Control. I'm Greg Milby, Kentucky's Heartland, and this is Heart of the Heartland.